Hello. Testing, testing again. Testing, testing again. Phoenix is rising. It has been very trying. I understand that it is a little Mercury retrograde, but what is so irritates me about YouTube is if I have an external mic plugged in, I'll automatically connect it to it. You know, it's like sometimes when people design something, I've noticed they try and be overly smart, or which kind of acts as resistance. So I have no idea. I know that I do have an external mic, which is good enough. I just like the professionalism, the professional sounds that having a external mic, which is why most of us get external mic, produces. I like that bass. I like that cardioid where it's honed into my voice and not somebody else's, or not the atmosphere around me, like my air conditioning, which has to be on because it is humid and muggy, and there's a lot of demonic presence, if I may say so, in the atmosphere. It's very scary. And so, yeah, anyway. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if it's going or anything. I do know that with having a map, it helps the situation. Uh, what's really creepy is it says it's telling me I don't have access. I don't have access to my live stream, and I don't have access to. So I'm not sure what that really means. What I don't have access to. Anyway, so the topic. I'm going to go ahead and keep this going. I'll edit it later, and I may have to do this again. This is already my second time. I'm wanting to take a nap before I go to work. So it's been very frustrating. I've been when forces of evil see that you are not one of these giver-uppers, you're not going to flee. They start withholding because they can't help it. They really do feel that, well, you don't deserve this, and these blessings, you don't deserve anything that we haven't given you. And even though I've again, I'm a transformational coach. I will get you from point A to point B to point C to point D to point E, however long our journey together as your guide, me as your guide, to help you to transform yourself is there. Is as long as we work it, as long as I have to work with you, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to help you to transform yourself. And my focus is on your mind, because you can still have riches, you can have a roof over your head, you can have a car, you can have, you can have all these material things, and you can talk the talk. As we've been seeing, there's a lot of people out here in my field, in the coaching field, who, there's one guy who is a self-proclaimed narcissist, and there's two of them actually, but there's one guy, he's black, and I thought, oh my gosh, and this guy's making buku bucks off of being a narcissist. Now, how narcissistic is that? But there are a lot of them out here who are not authentic, right? So you will know them by their fruits. And when you get into the public eye, there's a whole bunch you can scrub yourself off of the internet. You can say keep things silent, but eventually it comes out. So my thing is not to get you to materialism. My focus and purpose is to get you to renew your mind. Because when I was out on the streets, that's what I had to do. I had to renew my mind. I was so in a hurry, and the Most High was revealing this to me because I've been like quiet. I haven't been on TikTok a lot, especially posting or going live like I was, because again, I'm dealing with some things in my personal life that are starting to affect my professional life, and so you have to take a step back, right? But when I get these these nuggets of wisdom from my own life, I like to share them because it may have something to do with you too. You may be going through spiritual attacks. You may, spiritual warfare. I think every day we are going through spiritual warfare where we've just been numb to it. Especially if we've come from traumatic relationships or homes or upbringings, it's a familiarity that we just kind of brush aside. As long as it's not pulling off of our limbs or cutting us or anything else like that, then we can deal with it. Right? Those are those wounds that are unseen. Right? We like to heal the wounds that are visible. We're so like I have hair growing on my chin. Okay, and that's a lot of us do my cortisol and all that stuff, right? Because I went through some stuff, and which causes stress. The stress did not help. So anyway, look up the signs behind cortisol, belly fat, and hair. So and that's the first thing, because it's like, oh gosh, I can see it, and here I am, I'm shaving, and now, mind you, I started shaving when I was in a precarious predicament on a hospital table, having something, abscess, I believe it was, from an ingrown hair removed from my, removed from me, and popped or whatever, drained. And the lady just looked and she goes, you know what, I don't want a white lady, and she took that opportunity. To me, that's rape. You took that opportunity. She said, oh, yeah, my husband didn't like the hair on my lips or whatever. Now, mind you, she was up close to my face within 3 inches. Very uncomfortable. And she started talking to me about, oh, well, you need to shave the hair. So this is when I started shaving, right? Before I even needed to start shaving. Because she had an insecurity, because she was afraid that her husband or her boyfriend or whoever he was going to leave her, that she thought that she started shaving and dyeing and doing whatever for her facial hair, whatever. Now, mine has never been really an issue. But I've been, shaving now for probably like the past, 3 years or something like that. I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, like I was on the street, so I couldn't really. I mean, when I get my little breaks and go into the whatchamacallit, and the hotel, then yeah, shit, shower and shave. But whatever. But this is an example of how people induce interactions or wait for where they can have the upper hand, whether they're doing this consciously or unconsciously. This lady used her position as a nurse and exploited my need for help to relieve pain as an opportunist to cause me pain. So now, because she was suffering, now then I had to suffer. You feel me? So, and that's the thing, that's called transference. It's not, one thing that I've realized in my study of people with cluster B personalities is that we're always being told that we mirror each other. Da, 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 da. No, and I've said this before, we all live in the same fucking society. We all live in the same society, right? So if I'm living in America, I have to deal with American, values and all this other kind of crap that the narcissism and crap of America. If I live in the UK, I got to deal with that. If I live in Africa, I got to deal, in Ghana or whatever, I got to deal with that. But so the thing of it is it's not. For instance, it's not that we're mirroring each other, right? Because somebody asked me, they said, well, don't we all do such and such? And I said, yes. The difference with a narcissist it's not, we all break up and we all kind of hoover after the breakup because we were missing that person, right? After, give it 3 to 6 months tops though, and we have grieved, we have cried, we have rebelled, we have done retaliatory sex or whatever sex or whatever, and we move on, okay? But with the narcissist and other cluster B personalities, there's an obsession where they don't move on. It's this constant pattern of where their character disturbance, the disturbance comes in where they don't have a cutoff point. They are stuck in perpetual repeating their cycles onto us, their toxic patterns. Where like we all start out kind of playing mind games and manipulating and doing this. I mean, I remember I grew up with it, but see the thing is that we grew out of it. We evolve, we grow. I used to tell people when I was in my tweens that I realized that I am always constantly evolving and growing. I am never going to be the same person. Even if I have the same ideas or thoughts or I'm watching the same anime, metaphysically, I am never the same person. Because while we're sleeping, and I've noticed this especially doing graveyard shift, while we're sleeping or supposed to sleep, your body is changing. It's filtering, it's flowing, it's your heart is pumping, it's trying to purify it. Okay, well, you know what I mean? It's like you are a vehicle. You have a carburetor, you have oil compartment, you have an alternator, you have a radiator, you have this. You're a car, you're a vehicle. So, and you're always going, unlike like an actual automobile, which you can shut off, but everything is still resting. As soon as you put those fluids in, it starts going again, right? But with us, our fluids still keep going. We're a world within a world within a world within a world. That's the multiverse. We are the multiverse. So, people kind of try and simplify it or dumb it down. It's like, no, you don't understand. People can only use what they know. This is why it's good to read and to experience other things and other cultures and subject yourself to things, within moderation, of course. Don't traumatize yourself like I have before, but because that way the divine, the most high, your angels, your guides, your ancestors can point into your mind, go into your files, all that data that you've been collecting. As we're walking, we are picking up billions of data, billions of particles of data, right? So your ancestors and whoever you, like when I ask a question, it's like, okay, well, reveal to me where you want me to go, where are we moving to? I already say my what I desire. I already have a description of what I desire, but I never get too detailed because I leave room for the Most High to add that efficiency. Because because I may be asking for something based off of something else, but the Most High is like, no, I know your heart. I know what you're not saying, right? So I always say, as an empath, I hear what you're not saying. I can feel what you're not saying. Okay? So it's for the universe, as above, so below. And it's really not above, it's all around us. Right? So anyway, where I stay focused here. So that's the reason why you read. I've always been an eclectic reader, an eclectic music listener. I listen to country. Like, it hurt my heart when Mama Judd passed away. It hurt my heart because I grew up with these guys. It would hurt my heart to have. It hurt my heart for Luther Vandross. It would hurt my heart to have Anita Baker. Luther Vandross and Anita Baker, for me, have been staples in my spiritual evolution because they've been so consistent in producing that beautiful music that is, you know what I mean? I think Anita Baker is a contralto. And I was, pegged as a contralto, of course, before, and, sabotage myself and drinking and drugging and smoking, Yeah. So, I mean, it would be devastating for me. And so, the judges there, it's devastating for me. I mean, like, you start thinking about your life, and it's like, I wish that I would have known. I wish that it's not that I didn't know. I wish that I would have focused not on my trauma, right? But that's not possible at that age, right? It's not possible. So anyway, I digress a little bit. So anyway, this nurse had transferred her insecurities to me and made me insecure about my body, right? I remember when I was 98 pounds and I was called fat by the white girls because that's what you do with black girls is you call them fat. Whether they're fat or not right now, they're going to be in the future. So, because they're getting this from their parents, Like I was shocked, like I really thought that I was fat. But I didn't have the time in my life because of the abuse, the chronic day-to-day abuse that I was experiencing from a narcissistic parent, sociopathic parent, and the flying monkey, right? I couldn't deal with that. I couldn't process, like when somebody said something, it was just abuse to me. And all I knew to do was to freeze and to stay still and to keep moving and to hold on. It was not until I got on the street and because I had grown to a certain point, we evolve only to a certain point, and then we got to take care of those scars. We got to go in and dig up, excavate those wounds, those traumas that we had just gotten used to, right? Because when I don't know about other trauma survivors and childhood, trauma survivors, but I just went through my life kind of in a daze. I wasn't really present. I was still, I think I worked from, I'm just all this trauma, even though I did a lot of work, I didn't feel like I could trust anybody, right? Because I was also dealing with a lot of racism there, being a guinea pig of white psychiatrists and psychologists. So I couldn't deal with a lot, right? I kept it real simple because I was really overwhelmed, but I didn't know, I couldn't take it. So when I got to the point, as I started to continue to grow, continue to evolve spiritually, and then my journey changed from being, under the label of Christian to I don't know what the hell, and that's okay with me, right? I've always been more gravitated more towards Eastern spirituality, belief systems. That set well with me. That was it because it was natural. This is what I was already doing. So it was like confirmation. Then when you get into Hinduism or Buddhism, it's like, oh my gosh, yes, my God, yes, I can use my fucking brain. But then I still had to deal with the threat of lightning striking me, though. So, that's as a transformational coach, I am the realization, the wisdom that I got from my own experience in doing my dark nights of the soul, going on my healing journey. I had to go deeper. I had to attack those things that weren't glaring, that weren't visible, like the hair on my face, above my lips. I had to attack those things that were deeper, that were hidden from view. That cancer that you don't see, that's growing and festering and multiplying, that may, been a lump one day and then all of a sudden dissipated and then now it's back again. You see what I'm saying? But you're feeling sick and you're feeling all this and whatever. So I had to go in and I had to attack it. I had to say, okay, now, now God, what is it? Okay, so that's what I take my clients through. My purpose as a transformational coach and NARC coach is to get you to transform by renewing your mind, by thinking about what you're thinking about, by uprooting all that toxicity, by identifying the weeds and pulling them out by the roots. That's what we do. You are the goal setter. You and the divine know your purpose, but my goal is to get you to further, to fine tune what your purpose is. And the only way you're going to do that is by getting to know what you're thinking and excavating those deeper wounds, the fresh wounds, the ones that are on the surface, and then we go take a break and then we go deeper. Because therein lies you, because you were buried. If you've gone through trauma, childhood trauma. You were buried. The real authentic you was buried. Now, I know I titled this, they can't stand your gifts. And here's, but the reason, I'm getting to the reason why they can't stand your gifts. Because, see, when people say, well, you're mirroring, or well, that we all do that. No, we all have a cutoff point, though. We all wake up and realize this is not healthy for me. I am, because people say, oh, I don't want to be like my father or my mother, but you're really just like them. Why? Because you didn't sit still enough to do the work to understand why they did what they did, why they became who they became. I always wondered, why the hell can't I drink like everybody else drinks? You see what I'm saying? Why the hell can't I do drugs like everybody else does drugs? Because I'm not built for it. I was never built for it. Doesn't matter if I came from the same family. I am not built for it. God said no. Like, I can have a drink like every once in a while, but it was like, it's not my thing. It felt so good to have that balance where I could drink, every 6 months to a year and not go buck wild. So, and the other thing too is the reason why I thought about that is, it's like they can't stand your gifts, is because sometimes the attacks never stop. If you're an earth angel and you're a chosen one, and you just have the light within you. You have a light within you, and that's what they're trying to dull universally. They're trying to dull the light that is within us. And they will use evil forces, call it Satan, call it demons. It's the opposite. Again, you will know them by, Yeshua said, you will know them by their fruits. What does that mean? If the fruit is withered and dried up, every time they talk, so here's I had people who were trying to love bomb me, these narcissists, cluster B personalities who were trying to love bomb me or called themselves love bombing me. But I had evolved so much spiritually that it literally had a stench to it. If you believe that, it's like energy can literally have a stench to it. So, which caused me to focus on, like, okay, what is the end result? Right? The end, or, what is the fruit? Which is the end result. So this person thought that they were taking me out to a restaurant. And basically all they did was introduce me. I'm going to have all they really ended up doing was introducing me to their gang stalking network, to their hub. To more players in the insanity, basically. And that's what they ended up doing. The food did not taste good, so that was the end. That was the end of the you will know them by their fruit. The fruit tasted, the food tasted gross. This person didn't want to talk to me. This person didn't even want to. They just wanted to be in my presence because they wanted to be in my energy. When you find, Phoenixes, that people don't want to have conversations with you, right? That they get real irritated that you're talking. They gloss it up, but you can tell that there's like this undercurrent. There's a slight, we're irritated because you're opening your mouth, right? You're dealing with somebody, and not all the time does it have to be a narcissist. Some people can be energy vampires, and can be energy vampires, are energy vampires, but aren't narcissists. They're just toxic. See, some of us, when we become aware of our toxicity, because some of the things that we do that reflect a cluster B personality, a narcissist, right, a psychopath, a sociopath, is because we were raised by them. So we're just mimicking what they did, right? And even if you would get out of that situation, other people were raised by psychopaths and sociopaths, the cluster B cocktail. So, they're still doing what they see. Monkey see, monkey do. So if you live in a toxic country, a toxic culture, right? You're still going to be toxic. It's when you wake up and you say, I don't want to be toxic anymore. I want to evolve. I want to know what it's like to be who I am, because I have been living off of other people's fear and jealousy and pathological envy of me. I want to know what it's like to be Tennille. Who is Tennille? I know I'm here. I know what my name is, but I can't really feel myself because I'm always wading through other people's projections of what they think that I should be, what they think I need, based off of their own fucking egos. Imagine dealing with a succubus who's also supposed to be personality. I mean, like, you can't make most of this shit up, Phoenixes. You know, and what people do, you know, they'll tell you that you've made it up. That's what gaslighting is. But imagine dealing with somebody who literally expects you to not move anywhere, is monitoring you and using witchcraft and flying monkeys to do so when you energetically block them from telepathically trying to communicate or spy through your brain to try and see if they can get the upper hand and block you from anything good outside of them. So in a sense, a lot of times it's not you. You're not failing. If the road seems hard, the transformation and building a new foundation so you can build your business and leave a legacy, if you feel like you're going 10 steps back and somebody's pushing you 20 steps, 10 steps back, and after you've gone 5 steps forward, it's a force, it's an ebb and flow because you're getting too close. Again, we don't mirror each other. We grow up the same way, so we have this access to the same toxic resources. The difference is that we choose to grow, we choose to evolve. There is a yearning deep within our bowels, deep within our cosmic womb, that we're not, like, I got to birth this. I don't really want to have kids, but I'm not getting away with it. How many of you have crossed that threshold where you're like, oh my gosh, I can't go back? I remember when I literally crossed the threshold of my apartment back in my 20s. I was coming home from school, college. And I was frustrated because there was a lot of resistance coming towards me. And I was like, what is this? I'm getting tired, under the Christian banner. And I had a beautiful woman named Henrietta who was my spiritual mentor, guru. And I told her that I walked across that threshold, Mama. And I knew, it was weird because it was like I turned back within myself. Like the imprint of me in the physical inside of me, I had turned back. I saw my face turn back and really tell myself, we can't go back anymore. So I had hit the point on my journey, my spiritual journey, where we were not going back. At this point, tragedy had happened when my grandmother died. I'd never had a death in the family. And of course, I have a narcissistic family, flying monkeys, the whole, I'm the scapegoat for everything because, that's the way it was. They knew that I was a trophy and they didn't want to talk to me. They didn't want to, you know what I mean? So, and that's still the way that it is to this day. Like, they are literally fine without me. They were saddened, though, that I wasn't dead when they thought that I was. And I was thinking to myself then, what did I do so wrong for so-called family to literally block me out of their lives as if I kept the abuser, kept the sex offender, kept the psychopath, kept the one that tried to shoot his own brother over jealousy, his pathological envy of not being chosen by a woman. And that's why I said a lot of times it's not you, Phoenixes. It's not you. But we hit that point in time where we can't go back. We don't want to go back. You know, I mean, like, I didn't want to go back to that other life, but it was a series of events that let me know, that shook me up so much out of my comfort zone. I was already feeling uncomfortable. I was already like, okay, there's got to be more to this life. There's got to be more to what I've been told. There's got to be more out here. God can't be this narcissistic sociopath. I need to get a bigger God. I need to get a God where I can have a personal relationship with God, outside of people who said that we were called. But I'm seeing them attacking underage kids or having, you know, infidelity and all this other kind of stuff, and they're chasing it away or silencing people with, well, God told me and and forgive me. It doesn't matter what you do. Okay, but you know, Jesus also said, Yeshua also said, we will know them by their fruit. So both, you know what I mean? I needed something that was more stable. And in order to find that, I had to go within myself because God was within me, not outside of me. It's all right if I want to socialize with like-minded people. That's cool. But God is always going to be within you, not outside of you. But we are conditioned, we are coerced into staying, being bound to something that is no longer working for us. Because certain people who want to get that energy, a lot of times it's not about the money, it's not about the paper, it's about the energy. Because if I got the energy, I can go get the money. You know, if I got the energy, I can go get the money. I can go get the material things. But if I don't have the energy, then I can't. Because in that energy is wisdom. And a lot of us, see, that's where we learn how to give our power away. I'm giving my power away to Sister Olita because she's the pastor's wife or whatever. And so I can't talk to her when she talks outside of her next to me. I can't set her boundaries because then they'll excommunicate me from the church. And really what folks need to be thinking is hey, if you'd be lucky that I'm only setting a boundary and I'm not setting fire to the church. Because the devil can be there too. You know? Hold on. All right, sorry, because there's always some drama around here. That's another thing. When you become spiritually aware, the devil will use other people. Evil entities, energies will gravitate, like Fallen with Denzel Washington. They will gravitate towards people who are receptive to that type of demonic attachment, and they'll start stuff. So I've had to be, as I said, when I've taken a break for at least a month. I think I haven't been really keeping track, but I've just done little things here and there. But to reevaluate, rebrand, new myself, because there's been a lot of, I don't know what's coming. Right? Sometimes the Most High won't tell you. The universe will only just, because basically I just say, keep me in alignment with your will for me. Keep me in alignment with your will for me. If I've strayed, get me right on the path. Intervene, please. If you got to literally move me over, blow me with a gust of wind so that I go in the right direction, please do so. Right? Because that sometimes you get to that level in spirituality where you know that it's better to be on that path and to wait for direction and not move out of fear, out of your emotions. So anyway, that's why I had to mute really quick, because there was some drama that was created. And I was like, I noticed like every time I do these lives, lately, somebody will, chaos magic comes, distraction magic comes, and it's like, okay, it's not you. But again, so it's not you, it's them. And when I say that it's not you, it's them, we own our own stuff when we can recognize it. But the spirit of discernment also includes knowing what came from you. See, one thing that I realized too, growing up here in America, is that America delegates people, have designated a certain group of people as their garbage can, as their whipping post, right? As their inspiration. They just like to suck and drain that energy, and then now I've eaten, I've been a glutton, I've overdone it, and so now I'm gonna, pretty much poop on you. And so it's the same thing when you're dealing with toxic people and character disturbed people, is that they can't stand that you have gifts that but they don't understand. I have put up a post talking about, people don't see that when a caterpillar transforms into a butterfly, there's nothing but goof. There's nothing but goof. But think about how beautiful that is. When we're talking about, there's a story in the Bible talking about the potter's clay, right? I think that has to do with something with inky or something like that. But anyway, because of course it comes from Kemet. But so that, he's talking about the potter's clay. I watch you on the wheel. Well, when the caterpillar is turning into a butterfly, they literally are breaking their old selves down. The caterpillar is breaking, its body has been broken down. Think about that. So you have been willing to break yourself down, to be transformed into this whole nother species. And the narcissists and cluster B personalities can't stand that. They can't stand that, Phoenixes. And they're hungry hippos. This is what I've coined. Hungry hippos. There's a woman that was attacking and obsessing over me so bad because she saw something. She saw a glimpse into my future and how God was going to bless me. At the time, see, it's like you're not sleeping on yourself, but see, they're opportunists. And your trauma, your transition, the road that God has taken you on, and a lot of times it's because we missed it. I had to admit that earlier today, it's like, you know what, there are times where I remember the scene, there are times that I could have gone a different way, and when I prayed to you and I asked you to keep me on the path, and I saw you doing it in the spiritual realm, and then I said no, because it didn't look like I wanted it to look like. See, a lot of times, when we have these natural spiritual gifts, and we can see into the spiritual realm, and we're having communion, we have to be careful not to sabotage it. Don't ask it if you're not ready to receive it. Doesn't mean that you're going to have a life of, that you're a bad person. It just means that, you have to, one thing I realized is I have to take it out, take myself out of it. Because even though I know who my soulmate is, I know who my kin is. I don't like saying soulmate, but I know who my kin is. I don't know when that's going to be there. You see what I'm saying? I know how I want to be, cut and looking super fly and a billionaire already, and then I want to meet her. Okay, I'm also broke. Then I want to meet her, right? Because I don't want to come. Now that I understand why you don't want to date somebody who's broke, because and if and that's only between you and the Most High. But I realized that when I was on the streets and I saw people getting together and, it's love. No. Hell to the no. I don't love dirtiness. I don't love insects. I don't love venereal diseases and other STDs. I don't love all that stuff. So I'm going to get myself up off the streets and I'm going to get a job at least so I can go and wash my ass. Right? What I saw is a lot of people who are opportunists. I don't want to be alone on the streets. You ever see some? I mean, and these people are homeless still to this day, and they're still together. I don't want to be with somebody who doesn't want to grow and evolve with me. I'd rather be with somebody who's higher than me because I know myself. That energy is going to inspire me to be like, okay, let me look at myself. Right? The flip side of it is what I used to do. It's like, oh gosh, because I didn't realize who I was. I've had women who were like, hey, we're up here. They were gorgeous on the inside and the outside, and they were evolving. And they looked at me and they said, yes, you're evolving too. But I didn't see it because why? I was still playing the old tapes of my family, talking about you're stupid, you're fat, you're ugly, and you're never going to amount to anything. That's what I was told for 8 years. You're stupid, fat, you're ugly, you're never going to amount to anything. They weren't realizing it's like, okay, well, you're making me fat by starving me and then feeding me carbs, and I'm not any the wiser at the time. It was about control. I was no better than the dogs that we had. It was about control. And then being blamed for the trauma that I was being put through. Okay? So, but I've met women because I was doing my work though. But that's what I mean. It's like sometimes we're on autopilot, sometimes we're numb, and we're not dealing with our own issues. We're not dealing because we just learn, keep going, keep moving, keep going. Okay, I smell this. It's kind of almost like being a dog. It's like, okay, I'm leading, I'm toucan. I'm follow my nose. Because the only thing I can do is follow smell and react to other people's reactions and look on their faces and things of this nature. And then we're just going to keep going. We're going to duck and dodge this, and then we're going to keep, we're going to move over here. That's what most of us do. And it works sometimes for 20, 30, 40 years until it doesn't. Until we have something when we hit that threshold again where we say, I want to go higher. This is not the life. When I became homeless, it was like, this is not the life that I want. I don't know what else to do because I feel trapped. Why am I trapped? Why am I trapped in other people's fear of my success? But because we're asking ourselves those questions, Phoenix, and the people, the cluster Bs and the toxic relatives and whatnot, and partners, they're not asking themselves that question. They're not willing to go deeper, right? And a lot of times it seems like a losing battle. Well, why do I keep going deeper when it feels like it's taking me farther away from my goal? The deeper I go, the more I'm sabotaged. The deeper I go, the more people slander me. The more I'm stopped. The more people, the demonic hordes come. The more witchcraft they send to me. All this stuff. I know. I've gone through it personally. Pardon me, I'm trying to be rude. When the Most High told me who my kin was, I mean, I wasn't shocked, but I didn't take it any further because I didn't want to sabotage. I know that I can self-sabotage, right? Because there's a difference between having humility and being humble and being hiding fear under humility, a blanket of humility. So, and I just knew that I was still growing, right? I knew that I was still being taught. I was still going through school, right? I still needed to finish my training. So that was my focus. But as long as I knew that I would have somebody at the other end, that's what I needed. I needed that. I said, as long as I knew that I had somebody at the other end that was going to love me and reciprocate my energy. I wasn't focused on what it was going to look like, right? But when those who come against you, who don't want to see you, survive. They don't want to see you thrive. They don't want to see you happy because they're not happy. How dare you have a good-looking husband and have a good-looking wife who absolutely loves you and supports you and protects you? And how dare you, because I never had that. And here's the thing: the other difference between us as earth angels and healers, empaths, is that they never change, even when they do get it. They don't recognize it as such, and it's because they were always going. Their character disturbed. They're always trying to mimic what it's like to be us, which means that they will take on, they will transfer, but they will also try and take on our life, our story, right? So when I tell you, when I'm writing my book, when I tell you about my story of being on the street and how I got up off the street, when I tell you that, you know how much. So when I tell you that, I've come out of it. It's a transition, right? They can't. They just want to mimic what it's like to be that. They want to have the story without have gone through the work, right? It's like a ghostwriter. I'm there. They want you to be their ghostwriter for your own story. So it's not. It doesn't matter. So even if you do ghostwrite for them willingly, they're never going to be satisfied because they're always looking at what other people have. They're always trying to covet, or they're always coveting somebody else's stuff. And the thing with cluster B personalities is like they don't try to covet, they do. They will sabotage you to the point where they will do something to your tires, put sugar in your tank, have somebody do it, and you're none the wiser, and you think it's an accident, but it was already pre-planned and executed. The scary thing with people with cluster B personalities is that they have this gift of hiding themselves, which makes it hard for us to say, well, this person did this. Right? You can go through all this footage. Like I started collecting footage and started recording and stuff, but you can go through all this footage. But it doesn't look, and I was thinking about that, but it doesn't look like what I felt and saw in reality now. This is a frame of reality, but it's not reflecting what I saw. Because we're seeing on multiple levels. We're seeing on multiple dimensions. We're seeing from a spiritual perspective, and we're seeing from the physical perspective. We're seeing everything because we know their patterns. Why? Because they wanted us to get into their patterns so that we would react to them and we would play the role that they needed us to play. That's what grooming is. I scan you, I collect data on you so I can know who you are, what you want, and then I try and be what you want me to be. Whether that's the perfect boss, whether that's the perfect lover, whether that's the perfect best friend, right? And then I love bomb. So that's the love bombing, is being something that I know that you want so I can bait you. Then I switch up. Then I start devaluing. Then I start telling you all the secrets that you told me about your childhood. I start telling you the stuff. Well, that was true. I can see how they can think that or believe that about you because look what you're doing to me. I literally had this woman who was a pedophile, a gang stalker, and a gang member. She's committed heinous crimes. 60-year-old woman, delusional and deranged, told me that I was not the person that she knew. This is how I knew she was stalking me. This is before I knew anything. But this is how I knew she was stalking me. But you're not the person that I know. I thought that was the most peculiar, weirdo shit that anybody could say to me, who I just had lived with for only 2 months. And because of her cluster B cocktail, she wanted to talk at me when she wanted my energy. She was content. See, a lot of times with these cluster B personalities, they're content with having you in the room, but they will use you like an object. Instead of a blow-up doll, they're using you when they feel horny. Instead of a counselor, they're using you. to project and dump onto. Other than that, they don't act as if you exist. So we have people in our lives that are like this, and there's different upbringings and different ways that they execute their plans. You know what I mean? They get their supply. There's different ways. Like I said, I've been warning people. It's like you never know. Now it's all coming out though, because you never know what people. You may pass somebody. You go to a coffee shop or you go into the store and you're in the checkout line and somebody sees you. I've had that happen. I've gone to the grocery stores and I want to cluster because now I know their energy signatures are the same because it's all demonic. So their energy signatures are the same. It may be a different person. They may execute the takedown in a different way, but they're still the same demonic entity coming from the same demonic force. And I had this guy pass him and he saw me. Like my stomach turned. I said, And he was like really honed in. His eyes were, just like, I can't even describe what his eyes looked like, but he was literally focused. It's that psychopathic or sociopathic stare is what they call it, but I like the reptilian gaze better. Because that's basically what it is. They're just looking at you empty, cold, emotionless. But yet, with that one stare, they've taken probably like a gigabyte of data already on it. And it's only been through 2 minutes. You know? So it has nothing to do with you. They believe that you are competition for them because you exist. People have to start putting this in perspective, into perspective. Because we don't want to go. Gosh, I would love to just live my life right now, right? Like I said, I've had to take a break because I'm under heavy warfare, which means I'm getting closer to something. I don't know what it is, but I know that I have these guys projecting and transferring and monitoring me and sending monitoring spirits and sending sicknesses and doing witchcraft. And plus, we got this full moon, we got Mercury retrograde, we got all this stuff happening. But even before that, like I said, I've been gone for a minute. I just post every once in a while. I haven't been doing my lives though. I've been working on workshops, but the reason why I had to take a step back is because all this attack, even though I know what I know, and I have the tools to fight it. Like I said, when they know that you're getting close to your destination and that they can't come with you, they've lost. Number one, they don't want to lose because they haven't destroyed you. But on top of that, more than anything, they want to have what you have. See, people don't realize that with a cluster B personality, they want to have what you have. So even when they discard you so you can replenish yourself. Right? They're going to say, oh, well, you didn't do it. No, because they know that they drained you, so now you're worthless to them. And they'll talk to you as if, oh, it's your fault because, our relationship didn't work, our business partnership didn't work, or whatever. Pardon me. But as soon as you go in and you start doing what you start healing yourself, you start growing, you evolve, and you let go of all that baggage, oh my gosh. And they can't stand not being attached to you. And people are misinformed. I understand biochemically what the Pavlov kind of tactic does. Okay, well, I'm conditioning you to come when I get mad, or come when I say this certain phrase, or and get scared, then because I'm getting off of your fear, right? So they're conditioning you, they're grooming you to be a slave to them. But when they realize that you can disconnect from them, I remember I've had 2 people that they keep attaching these demons to me. They keep it's a monitoring spirit. So they will send monitoring spirits to you, which means that they will ask, and sometimes they'll astral project themselves to you or get somebody to be a vehicle. Like I live in California, so there's a lot of Hispanics here, and I've learned a lot of shit. I have learned about I I've never really, thought too much about witchcraft before, right? I mean, I was into the vampires and the werewolves and stuff like that, not really the Harry Potter stuff, even though I found it cool, right? But I didn't really know all of what it entailed. But since I've been in California and I've been around all these Hispanics, and that's their first go-to. You get male or female gets rejected, they're going to the Shango shop, they're getting a destroy all spell or bring back my lover spell or love domination. They're going to pay for that. They're going to pay to have rituals done on you. And it doesn't mean, especially when you got people who are part of a collectivist narcissistic culture, that's what they do individually. They're a cluster B. So all the people that have, except for one, since I've been in California, the ones who have been the most violent have been these Hispanic women. Now, mind you, they're 5150, not just character disturbed. So, mind you, I've not dated anybody that I've shared with you guys that I've had a run-in with. I didn't date my family, right? I haven't dated these two women. Both of these two women are sex offenders. Both of these women are gang members in the same gang. As I said, that where I live, it is a part of the social construct here. To gang stalk and slander, but to the point where everybody with these guys, they are nationwide. So it doesn't matter where you go because that's how toxic this culture is. Well, we feel that we're in power, but I have this woman attach things. I've had her do domination spells on me. It's like she can't. She has a succubus spirit, and she can't let it. It has such control over her that anytime somebody rejects her, then her mommy issues come. She got her mommy issues. She got her daddy issues. And I've said this before, with people with cluster B personalities under that diagnosis, they have not done like we've done. We've lived in the same environment, the same society. We've gone through similar trauma. The fact with them though is that they don't want to heal from their trauma, and there is no healing them because they feel it was going to be that way anyway. They were going to be who they were anyway. Right? So where we were going to be who we were, regardless of whether trauma happened or not. But what gets us off of our path and off of our purpose, or from finding out our purpose, is that we have the people who are the cluster B personalities in partnership with demonic entities because of what they are, because their bitterness, because they've allowed themselves to be open. Right? They want power, they want success, they don't want to work for it. Right? I've been traumatized. I can't. You guys wouldn't even believe why I'm still alive. But I don't look like my pain because I had a relationship with the Most High from the beginning, and I was always willing and open to change and evolve. To know, I want the wisdom. Please show me. And I'm a tactile person, so I got to go and experience it. So show me how do I change my life? Show me how I can manifest a whole new world and be with my soul tribe. What I rejected at the beginning because I was still hurt and numb and oblivious, I want to at the end. I want to, you see what I'm saying? Where they don't care. They just want them, but they're going to be sitting in there waiting for you to get what you need, get to your destiny. Then they're going to come back and say, hey, like they literally want to be paid for traumatizing you. Like I said, I had a father who said, if you would have been a normal child when I was 8, and then added you were supposed to be a boy. So it's not you, but because a lot of times, especially with psychological trauma, attacks, and witchcraft, when the trauma is unseen, you can't really talk about it. It's hard. But there's over 100 million people talking about, being attacked with witchcraft, astral terrorists, and the like. We're talking about it. So there's a reality to it. But it makes you feel crazy, you know? So that's why I be saying, Phoenix says, your transformation, people don't like your glow up. They're not going to like it, especially if they can't benefit from it. And if you're dealing with a narcissist, a cluster B personality, somebody with a succubus incubus spirit, and you've rejected them, and they got mommy and daddy issues, you are going to be. They will send you every demon under the sun, dude. And most of the times, it's just their house within themselves. They're the carrier. They're the virus. They're the reason why the virus is spreading. So I say, my advice to you, Phoenix, is if you're going on your being gang stalked, you're dealing with heavy witchcraft attack, you're starting to get depressed, you're starting to want to just leave your purpose, because I understand that too. I remember I went to the school that had a heavy demonic principality over it, and like it was really trying to devour all Christians. Well, here's the thing. When my grandma died, I left Christianity to go and explore other faiths, because I've never gotten to do that. I never had that freedom before. And so it wasn't that. It was that they don't want you to have that Christ consciousness. They don't want you to be conscious. Anybody who vibrates at a higher level than them, than they can vibrate, they want to destroy. Because it's ego. It's I want all the attention. It's that grandiose sense of self. Why do you get this? Because I almost died. And I'm going to close with this. So basically what I want you guys to do, get into prayer and meditation. If you need to, so that you're not getting in that spirit of self-sabotage or just giving up, just start doing that. I've got affirmations on my affirmation playlist. I have relaxation music on that playlist. If you want to get more, have access to more, because not all of them are on there. I got it on my Patreon for Patreon members. There's a $35 a month membership that you can do, and those are 45. Those are 30 minutes to an hour that I'm saying affirmations of warfare prayers, Daniel's prayer, pleading the blood of Jesus prayer, because I still believe in that. I believe especially the Psalms. I'm getting ready to do the Psalms, and I noticed that the more I produce content and products for you guys, the more attacks happen. Like I quit smoking and I hit the ground running. I'm still on my health journey, and like anything to basically cut you off from being functional, But listen to affirmations, say affirmations, quote your scriptures, say your psalms. That when I know it's fast for 18 hours, or do a smoothies fast, do a juicing fast, anything to up your. Right now I got licorice because that's the lowest in calories. And I've been 6 months without smoking. Yay me. And had a bout with it yesterday for some reason. I'm like, why is this coming up now? But again, the body keeps score. And so, but anyway, they will attack your body. They will attack your mind. I know that they were trying to create in me a psychosis. They were trying to, basically, they would attack me in my dream state. And I woke up like crying, like I was going to die. And I remember saying to myself, well, but I'm not done yet. Or no, it wasn't that I wasn't done yet. It was like, I got to get my house in order. So there was basically, this succubus was trying to convince me that I needed to lower my standards because I was getting old and I was getting ready to die, right? She had also said, I'm going to try and kill you in your sleep. So this is what I'm saying. These guys can astral projecting while you're alive and while you're walking and you're busy with something. Think about what that takes for somebody to be able to do. Think about how fragmented you have to be with your true self that you can't even be in your own body because there's too many demons crowding, right? Like you're sitting there talking to somebody and your main supply, because I've noticed with these guys, their main supply, they will have full-on conversations with, you know what I'm saying? They'll act as if everything's normal. But to other people, it's like, you know what I mean? It's really weird. And I've always been that. I've always had run-ins with people, not always, but I think towards my deeper awakening, it was like, okay, well, I know it was just really weird. Like I remember the first one was this one woman who was beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. I really liked her personality, and met her in my Nichiren Buddhist group. But she was, you know, she wanted to talk to me. She wanted me, you know, she was the one that was realized that I was trans, and you know, and but it was weird because she didn't want to wait. She didn't want to get to know me. All she wanted to do was to have sex. She's like, I just want to have sex. So her thing, and I read that in her mind, because it was so intense. It was such a yearning for her that it was communicated energetically. You know, like I said, particles, energies, energies are particles. Particles become waves. Waves get so dense that they form, whether it's a sentence or whether it's an actual object. Okay, so, but yeah, so anyway, those are the relationships that I've had with women and men, you know, of all colors, races, and genders. You know, and realize it's like, again, sometimes we're so numb when we get out of, like when I was still fresh and when people were still fresh and they were, you know, basically the universe, I was meeting people that were like, well, we love you, we see your power, but I wasn't in touch with myself. I was just detached from who I was. Because I've been told that I was nothing. I was treated like a slave. I was treated like an object in my family. These guys go around like they've done nothing wrong, that they don't live with a sex offender. You know, that they didn't abuse me in any way, shape, or form, that they didn't wish death on me. These are my own family. I mean, from both sides, actually, from my mother and my father, right? So there was a lot of healing work to do about that. And there's a book that calls It Didn't Start With You. And I've been listening to that. So if you guys are listening to this, get the book It Didn't Start With You. And because I actually heard about it on TikTok. And I started listening and found it as an audio book. And I thought, okay, so that's not, I don't believe in coincidences. That's like the divine saying, hey, get on this. Now we're doing research now. So since you're not going to be on, you know, online very much and doing content, you know, or whatever, you're going to, basically, since you're being attacked and everything, your software is sabotaged and all this other kind of stuff, now you're just going to be writing and you know, and educating yourself, right? And so, yeah, it's basically just getting, you know, do the affirmations, journal especially, say your warfare prayers, make your declares and decrees, and ask for revelation of anything that is hindering you and opening you up to feel weak or anything else like that, right? Because one thing, when you get to that point in your life, in your spiritual journey, where you just understand, okay, now I see, like there are actual people. See, when we think about the devil, you know, anytime we're told about the devil, we see it as a being outside of ourselves, not a being that is actually real, working within people. Yeshua said the Spirit of God is within you. So that means the spirit of Satan is within others. And I've seen this Clint plain as day. Again, I'm around all this. It's basically a Hispanic culture, you know, when you come to California. Whether it's very insidious stuff. But I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's because I'm in the capital. So these guys, I literally have seen demons behind the eyes of these people. And not you know, just Hispanic people, not just, you know, focused on them. Anybody who was within this cult. That muerte has grown. Witchcraft has grown since 2000. Exponentially. You know, as when they started tearing apart the Christian and Catholic churches and causing people to lose their faith and embarrassing them, you see what I'm saying? Like outing these down low pastors and everything else like this, and they're dying from, you see what I'm saying? Because that was all set up. That was constructed. Because the demons don't, the evil does not want you to have a close relationship. So they're going to confound your language. They're going to make you, they're going to make you start concentrating on whether, to call him Yeshua or Jesus or Yahweh or whatever, right? Of course, I want to get to the real name, not the name that Jewish people are hiding, right? I just listened to Zechariah Sitchin said that, Yahweh, Yeshua, and all that other kind of stuff, that's not, it doesn't mean what people think it means. So you're hiding knowledge. That was the other thing, too, that came to me, is people are hiding knowledge, so we're always being gaslit. We're always being we're always being subjected to, oh, well, nobody else needs to know that. I want to be the secret. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to have that power. I don't want anybody else to have it, right? And so, like, when we're not dealing with it in our personal lives, it's happening all around us on a grander scale. But the best thing is to be aware. So do not allow them to entrap you. I mean, I know that it's a battle, and these guys don't want to battle. They don't want to, they want to battle, but they don't want to lose. And I know that it's getting exhausting because I feel it. I woke up one day exhausted, right? Because in the dream state, when they can't get you in the physical, the dream state, and what they'll do is they'll cause chaos, they'll cause distractions, they'll cause annoyances, because they're hoping that if you vibrate, if you start getting mad and you vibrate at that lower level, that then you'll just capitulate. They'll be able to open themselves to you. Now, or you'll open yourself up to them, and they can body swap with you. People are really starting to talk about walk-ins. Now, these are humans who are alive, who are walking in, trying to literally take over other people's bodies and lives. You can't make this stuff up. So that's why I said, take this seriously. Take your life seriously. Take your transformation seriously. Because one thing that I found, and God had to remind me of this yesterday, because I was under heavy attack. I was at work, and I was annoyed. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling this sickness. It's not mine. This is the same pattern. These guys do this stuff. And this is like, that I work graveyard, so that I'm going to throw it back up. When I do a return to sender, then you get deathly sick. And many of these people are sick now, especially if you know how to return it and you've done nothing to them. So why would you keep it? These are people who are delusional and deranged. These aren't people. These are hosts for entities. I mean, that's just real shit. Like, I can't wait to get to our forever home and start writing and get my soul tribe together and start working on these films. I mean, that's what the only thing that's frustrating me right now the most is like, okay, God, you keep telling me to do this stuff, and then I start working on it, and then the distractions come, and then But my distractions aren't like, oh, he said, she said, or yelling or arguing, because I can ignore that, and they see that. So what they'll do is they'll literally try and either kill me or kill one of my fur babies. And that's I'm not making that up. So, I mean, like, if people think, oh, this spiritual, no. If you are actually doing something, they're going to try and take you. Because that's what they still kill and destroy. Still kill and destroy. That's what they do. Day after day, hour after hour, minute after minute, second after second. Still kill and destroy. That's what they're here for, to do. So why not, put on your full armor, which is your authentic self. Get used to being supernatural. Get used to being powerful. Get used to your gifts. Whether you're telepathic, clairvoyant, shit. If you can control the wind, if you can control the water, if you can control earth. If you're a fire, what is that? The avatar, if you're doing some avatar stuff, then you better get on it. But get comfortable and to the point where nobody can tell. It doesn't matter if they laugh at you. I had a group of guys laughing at me the other day. I didn't care. I don't know what they were laughing at because I don't focus on that. You can go ahead and laugh at me. You can go ahead and laugh at me. Laugh at me all you want to laugh at me. But I'm going to be in my purpose regardless, you know? So anyway, Phoenix is Rising. Thank you so much for listening. Like, subscribe, and share. And if you want to become a patron, support me through our Phoenix Rising Academy through our Patreon, then please go follow the link. I don't know if I put it in there, but I'll put it in there after this live processes. And also, you know, it's a way you can follow me on my social media. Go to my Linktree link. If you right now, I'm not doing any consultations or anything like that because I'm like I said, going through the battle and going through my own, you know, completing transformations and stuff like that. But if you just want to talk, you can go ahead and just drop me an email free of charge, right? You can just drop me an email free of charge, and I'm more than willing, more than able to help guide you or just to be a listening ear. Okay. So remember, Phoenix says, I love you and I thank you for trusting me as your transformational coach and not coach, and never give up because what your blessings are in your actions. Live. Affecting my Shivagmane Vetangaye Namah Om Namah Parvati 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 Shivagmane Vetangaye Namah. It's just trying to convince me that I'm gonna no, because if I look that bad, motherfucker, it's you. And after that day too, I remember this was last month. After that day, a lady said, "You don't look like you." And you shot her no because I eat healthy and I fast. Like I'm fasting now. Fasting for eating and day. That's why I got it because it's like I killed me that hand in the mouth and I'm getting used to not having. When I had that explosion, the airplane, fuck it. There's too many people in my energy who are smokers. It's like, I rebuke you in Jesus' name. You're not coming to my energy field. With your drugs, with your alcohol, with your perversion. Keep it to yourself. They are bound to you. You will not transfer or dump it anything on you. Stop. Stop. It's still going, but I've been cut it off.